Hello and welcome to another edition of Ideal with Neil News Market Update. Hope you're surviving this heat going on here. It is the summer. Occasionally I do not do a market update in the summer, but this year is different. So without further ado, let's get into the market stats. So the market stats, as always, I look at Waterloo region and take a look at all the different statistics for the properties in the area. We'll start with the average sale price as usual. This dropped again in June from just over 743,000 in May to 729,000 in June. Again, this is for all products. The headlines in the local media, I know, said it was the worst June ever, that sort of thing. It's kind of, if you've been following along at home, we've been sliding down that path for a little bit here, starting with the beginning of the year when we didn't have a lot of sales, and then into the spring market where we had some sales, but pricing wasn't exactly where sellers were hoping for. Interestingly, unit sales continue to increase ever so slightly, from 635 units in May up to 662 units in June. So as much as we had an average sale price that dropped, our actual unit sales were up a little bit. The new listings, they started to level off from 1,465 new listings in May to a slight drop to 1,407 new listings in June. Again, I think as we work our way through the spring market, a lot of people who want to do something this year, usually focus on the spring market to do it. So it does, totally makes sense that we're starting to see the listings level off a little bit as we're heading towards the summer. With that, our total homes for sale leveled off as well, and that was at 2,064 total homes for sale in June. Pretty much the same as in May. The average days on the market also bumped up a little bit from 24 to 27 days, and this makes sense again with just a little bit more of a struggle with the sales. That takes a little bit longer. Our months of supply leveled off a little bit finally after monthly increases from the beginning of the year. It stayed at 4.1 months. I guess this makes sense given that the inventory is leveled off as well. The average percent of last list price dropped from 101.4% in May to 101% in June. So a little background there, we still see a lot of listings doing a hold on offers where they price it lower than market value or assumed market value, and hoping to get multiple offers by waiting a week to look at offers. A lot of sellers trying this are not having a lot of success, but the ones that we see do have success usually are discounting their list price by a considerable amount, and therefore, when they are getting sold, they're selling for a lot over the asking price, which is realistically probably at the end of the day, pretty much around market value, that eventual sale price. But certainly it makes the stat for the average percent of last list price seem a bit more impressive. So no real surprises here in the June stats, as far as I'm concerned, based on what I was seeing happening out there. As for the summer, I think we're going to have a traditional slow market. Buyers are likely to take the summer off and just kind of take their time as they've been doing all year already here. So that means them going on vacation and not, worrying a whole lot about, what comes on the market during that time. We'll see what happens though. The Bank of Canada, they're going to make an announcement next week, and again, I expect things to hold steady there, so no real change that way to spur anybody one way or the other. We'll probably again see less listings on the market in the summer here, and I think everybody's got their fingers crossed, at least as far as sellers go, for after Labor Day, and see what happens there. So as always, thanks for your continued referrals. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions or you know of anybody who's looking to do anything, by all means, please reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions. And so I hope to do an update for July sometime in August, but if not, I'll chat back in after Labor Day weekend. So enjoy the rest of the summer and take care.